Good evening, everyone. Welcome to WTF. This is the 11th episode, also known as Wednesday Thought Forum, and I want to thank you for joining us this evening. So today's topic is going to be about holding grudges and why it's bad for you and how to let it go. So in regards to grudges, when we forgive, then we kind of set ourselves free. And letting go, it actually develops your self-growth. We stop feeling or seeing ourselves as victims when we let go of grudges. The forgiveness itself frees us from the past. And remember, we don't want to be stuck in the past. So forgiveness is something that we want to do for ourselves. We don't do this for anyone else but ourselves, not others. If you hold grudges, it's going to keep you from living a happy and free life. So I'm going to give you an example because I used to be a person who held grudges. And I wasn't mean about it or anything, but I held grudges. I was not a very forgiving person. I always felt like I had to prove myself right with that other person. So I was not a very forgiving person. But when I figured out how to learn how to forgive, oh my gosh, my life was so much easier. And I wish I would have learned to forgive earlier than I did. But life was better. And I just kind of totally wrote off all the things that weren't really important to me, not worth my time. As I life, so I have learned to focus on the things that are valuable to me, such as family, friends, things of that nature. And I don't fret so much over the things that don't really mean much to me any longer. So I want to kind of go over why holding grudges is bad for you. If you're just joining us, we're just talking about holding grudges and how it's bad for you. And I'm going to give you a few examples of how you can. But I'm not claiming to be a doctor or anything. This is all personal experience and research, things that I have read. But research shows that when you hold grudges, you have an increase for higher blood pressure. And then this in itself can make a likely candidate of dying of heart disease. It's the immune system, metabolism, and then it could affect other organs as well. I do see a lot of people that maybe hold grudges tend to have extra stress, and that all in itself, metabolism, I can verify that one firsthand. But so with this research, do you think it's really worth it to hold grudges when you can have all these health ailments and things like that? I don't think so, but it happens. So when you also hold grudges, then you kind of lose focus or don't allow yourself to see anything else. You're going to be angry, you feel like maybe everything is going wrong, or at least you convince yourself that everything is going wrong. It could lead to depression and sometimes, well, a lot of times, unnecessary stress. Holding on to grudges also leads you to focus on negativity, and then you can't seek out joy or happiness, and you can't seek out gratitude. And we talked about that a couple weeks ago as well, gratitude. So with all these negatives, this can lead to a lot of unhealthy relationships as well. So you're probably asking me, okay, Melissa, what am I supposed to do to help me get rid of these grudges? That's why I'm here to help. So I have a few things to do. The first thing that I saw was you need to see forgiveness as a strength and not a weakness. And this was my big thing because I had to prove to someone else, what they had done to me, or maybe even make them feel bad sometimes because they had done it to me and I wanted them to feel like I did. If I couldn't do that, then I felt like I was weak. when in all actuality, it actually takes strength to forgive someone. So when I started changing my mindset to reverse that, it does take strength to forgive someone and to do it with grace. And then, in all actuality, when it's all said and done, kindness ends up winning. The second is to remove emotions, and I think this is where a lot of people get caught up in, is reacting on emotions instead of removing those emotions. Sometimes we have to be the bigger person and remove these emotions that we're feeling, self-reflect, and then you can see the bigger picture. So a lot of times when you're communicating with someone that you're trying to forgive, and not everyone wants to talk to someone either when they are trying to forgive someone, but you use a lot of I statements, and I learned this when I went through some therapy, and I learned to use this with my kids, parents, just in everyday situations, whether I'm at work or not. If you're just joining us, we're talking about holding grudges and how it's bad for you and how to let go of those grudges. So when you use I statements, it's more like when you're conveying to someone, you're just stating, I feel this way because of this, versus stating, you did this to me. That way, the person you're talking to sometimes will maybe see and be accountable for what they did versus feeling attacked. So another way to forgive is to act with kindness. And sometimes this is hard to do. Not warrant or be warranted for every situation. But sometimes when you act with kindness, you can, again, remove the emotions and see the bigger picture. You may approach that person and just say, hey, talk to me. What's really going on here? This isn't you. You typically wouldn't do this. Or you might just say, you tell me you're fine, but is this really it? Or, how you really feel. And just try and get down to the bottom of it. But again, it may not be warranted for every situation. Another way to forgive is to not play the victim. So instead of seeing yourself as the victim, then you might just change your mindset and see yourself as the hero of your story. So some of you know my background, some of you don't, but I was a victim of verbal and mental abuse for numerous years. And can I call myself the victim? Yes. But when I learned how to actually forgive this person, I didn't forget, but when I actually learned how to forgive this person and change my mindset into being the hero of my story, it was so much better to, accept the forgiveness. Because when I thought about it, I'm like, wow, damn girl, you're really awesome to overcome something that you just did and still be the person you are. So when you see yourself as a hero of some tragedy, it makes it easier, and it's usually, so it's warranted. But thing is, sometimes it's just a good time to let the relationship go. Not everyone is worth keeping around. If they, I guess forgiving is not really about wanting to change people, but giving people the opportunity to change towards you or what they had done to you. If they truly hurt you with intent, then it's probably time to let them go. Or if you are sacrificing your own well-being because of what they've done, then it may be a good time to let them go. So just a few final thoughts on forgiveness. Again, it's a life changer for me. It makes my life so much easier to forgive. And again, you don't have to forget. But some final thoughts is just to be when you're doing it. And when you act with kindness, when you forgive someone, don't expect it in return, because it's not always going to happen. And when you expect that, and you're just going to be disappointed if it doesn't happen. And even if you have to say goodbye, do it with kindness, do it with grace. You won't regret it later. Trust me, you won't. And you'll feel good about yourself because of what you had just done. And then once you're able to forgive someone, then you yourself can start to live a happier and freer life. And it truly is. You'll suffer less, you'll be less angry, and you'll be more empowered and feel more empowered because you are the hero of your story. So if you like this, then feel free to join us again every Wednesday evening at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I do also have additional articles that you can find on my blog, which is thinkmefirst.com. And if you would like some additional tips, tricks, hacks, things of that nature, feel free to sign up for my email as well. You can find my email address on my blog and subscribe. And I only send one email a day, or one email a week, I promise. So again, I want to thank you guys for joining me this evening. And just remember, thank me first. Have a good one.